Alright, today's video I'm going to be showing you Phenax, god of deception. So, Phenax is a mill deck. Obviously, what do you get with Phenax? You get a 4/7 if you have the devotion to black and blue equal to 7. For 5, he's indestructible, but the important part is, creatures you control have tap. Target player puts top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, equal to the creature's toughness. So I've seen a lot of Phenax builds that are more spell-based. A lot of enchantments that cause people to discard and, well, mill and so on. I did mine more creature-based. So let's get started. Right off we have Consuming Aberration. 5 for an XX, where X is an equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. Is it? Cards in your opponent's graveyards. Okay, and whenever I cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library until she reveals a land card, then puts those cards into his or her graveyard. Sweet. So this gets really big, really fast, and mills the crap out of people. Memory lapse. So most decks this is crap. In this deck it's pretty good because the card I counter should get milled off anyway. Right. So Rexiel, the Risen Deep. He's huge. Toughness 5/8. Island on Swamp Walk. Whenever he attacks, I can choose a instant or sorcery in that player's graveyard and cast it without paying its mana cost. Then I exile it. Memory Plunder. Right, so instant speed, damnation, instant speed. Oh, what else is really cool? Beacon of Destruction. Whatever I've milled that looks pretty cool, instant speed, I can cast it, do it. Usually this just sits in my hand though. Usually I don't use it. Phyrexian Metamorph. 3 and 1 Phyrexian mana, so that's either blue or 2 life, for a copy of target creature or artifact when it comes into play. Island. For Phenax, I chose the Shadowmoor Islands and Matching Swamps. So that's what you have. I think they really fit the feel of the deck. The darkness, the decay, the inevitable demise of your library. Crystal Shard. 3. Return target creature to its owner's hand unless they pay 1 colorless. 3 or a blue. Tap. Do that. Usually use this on my creatures. Get more value out of the interest of battlefield triggers. Evil Twin. 4 comes into play as a copied creature, and then for black, blue tap, I can kill it. I don't think I've ever done that before. I think usually this comes into play. When has this come into play? Bloody hell, I can't even remember when I've cast that. Anyway, Riddle Keeper. 3 for a 1/4, so the toughness is good. That's 4 cards milling off of Phenax. And whenever somebody attacks me, or a planeswalker I can control, they mill the top 2 cards of the library into their graveyard. I don't know why they need to say graveyard. Where else are they going to mill the cards to? Exile? No. Mill them into the command zone. Jace's Mindseeker. 6, 4/4 for a flyer. Comes into play, target opponent puts top 5 cards of the library into the graveyard, and I may cast an instant sorcery card from among them without paying the mana cost. So I really have to be careful who I target. There's been a few memorable times where I hit nothing but lands, artifacts, creatures, and I can't cast anything. So it's like, I get a 4 for a flyer for 6. Look at me. Swamp. Oh, I love that art. Go the Lotus, signed by Pana Pilzarova. I hear she doesn't like Magic players anymore because they think they own her. And Slovakia is a small country, so they can go find her. Damn Magic players. Arcanus the Omnipotent. 6 for 3/4, so again the toughness feeds into Phenax. Tap, draw 3 cards. Spend 4, put them back in my hand. Ambassador Liquatus. Spend 3. Target player puts top 3 cards of his or her library into their graveyard. And he's a 1/3, so I can tap him. And you'll put another 3 cards from your library into your graveyard. How do you like that? Gath, Lord of the Vault. 6 for 5/5. Intimidating. What is he? A zombie? He's a zombie. Okay, so X and black. Put target artifact or creature card with converted mana cost X from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, tapped. I always forget the tapped part, always. Then that player puts the top X cards of his or her library into the graveyard, so you can find something else. How efficient. Teferi, Mage of Zhalfir. To save this plane, he must forsake all others. Right, 6 or 3/4, so he's milling for 4 if Phenax is in play. He's a flasher. He makes all my other creatures flashers. And he makes it so my opponents can only play spells as a sorcery. No flash for you. Lightning Greaves. 2. Creature has haste and shroud. Equip 0. So kind of the combo is Eat of the Dead, Lightning Greaves, Phenax. What really helps is if I have the mana, 1,000-year elixir. That also works to give the creatures the tapping haste in order to use them and start milling away as soon as they come into play. This is new. I just got this about 2 weeks ago. Maddening Cacophony. It really costs 6. I mean, who are we kidding here? If I spend 2, each opponent mills 8 cards. Yeah, whatever. If I spend 6, each opponent mills half the library. Round it up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Beacon of Unrest with a new art. Kind of neat. 5, put target artifact creature from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And then shuffle it back in your library to do it again, if you can find it. I have no search cards in this deck for creatures. Spells, I believe I have Teferi so I can find artifacts. But intentionally I built this deck so I do not have search cards, so I do not always go find Eater of the Dead. It makes it more interesting, more unpredictable. For me as well as everybody else. Reliquary Tower, I have no maximum hand size. And I can add one of my mana pool. Thawing Glaciers. Comes to play tapped. Slowly get the basics out of your library. Really slowly. But it's dependable, reliable, does the same damn thing turn after turn. Talisman of Dominance. Add 1 colorless or suffer damage, add blue or black. Beltar Sphinx. I really haven't seen this in too many Phenax builds. So he's a 2/5, so he will mill for 5. Flying. And when a resource deals damage to it, that source's controller puts that many cards. Mills that many cards. Come on, they're using mill now. This is the old wording. So he's a pretty good blocker. Just let him hang around. When the opponent who precedes you, when they've ended their turn, if you have Phenax out, then tap, mill. Otherwise, just leave him out and let things run into him, and let the opponent mill that many cards. Expedition map. This either finds Urborg or Cabal Coffers, depending on which one I already have or which one I think I'll be able to find next. 1,000-year elixir. So this is a key card in the deck. So I can use the activated abilities of creatures as though they had haste. It doesn't actually give them haste, but Phenax, because he gives the creatures a tap ability, I can use a tap ability right away. And then 1 tap and tap target creature. Polluted Delta. This was supposed to be in English, but the seller sent me one in Portuguese, and I thought, at least it's signed, at least it's signed in gold, so I didn't quibble too much. He sent me a couple euros of compensation, everything is fine. King Bakar the Gold Cursed. Never got him to work. When he becomes untapped, exile target creature. If I do, put a colorless artifact token named gold onto the battlefield. I can sack the gold, add 1 mana of any color in my mana pool. So I don't think the times I've had him in play that he's lived very long. That he's lived long enough to do anything. I mean, he's only a 2/3. Usually people see that, oh, you're going to mill me and then exile my creatures? Lightning Bolt, Swords Plowshares, Beacon of Destruction. You know, any number of that creature has to die now cards. Bad River, the Mirage Fetch land. I still wish they would print the enemy color complementary fetch lands, so they come into play tapped. The commander, who cares? Oh, there he is. There's my bad boy, Eater of the Dead. I don't know why this has been going up. Apparently it's not on the reserve list. I don't know what it's played in. I don't know what the popularity is, but apparently it's really shot up in price. Anyway, he's key in the deck. The funniest thing that ever happened is I was playing, had Phenax out, had 1,000-Year Elixir out. I cast Eater of the Dead. Nobody did anything. He resolved. Tap. Francois, mill the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard, please. And then choose one of your creatures and exile it. Oh, which one? What do you mean? Which creature should I exile? I think you'll find that doesn't matter. Just choose one, exile it, and then I'll mill you again. And we're going to keep doing this until I kill you. It's your creature heavy deck. So, that was the debut of Phenax, and it worked out really nicely. Cavern Harpy. I believe this is the only creature with a unoppressive toughness. I have her here to bounce back my creatures and reuse them. That's pretty much she's for. Also, I can bounce her back and play her to trigger Equilibrium. No, not Equilibrium. What do I have in this deck? Intruder Alarm. I have her here to trigger Intruder Alarm. So I can pay 1 life, put her back, cast her, Intruder Alarm triggers, and all creatures in tap because her creature came into play. A lot of times with Intruder Alarm, people just kind of slow down and stop casting creatures if they see what you're doing with it. Dimir Aqueduct. Eh. Ristic Study. Did you pay your taxes? Then I get cards. Nice. Oh, Island. Drowned Catacomb. Okay, recent addition to the deck. I forget what I took out for this. I got a good deal on this foil Time Warp. It was so pretty. Couldn't think of any deck to use, and I thought, Phenax. Why not? So, it's in Phenax. High Market. No, you will not be exiling my creature. I'll kill it myself. Gain a life, put it in the graveyard so I can get it back. How are you going to get it back? Well, you'll see. Island. Mind Grind. Each opponent mills X cards until they mill that many lands. How's it phrased exactly? Each opponent reveals cards top of his library until he or she reveals X land cards. Then dumps all cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. X cannot be 0. I don't see why not, but that's what they said. Mind Crank. So yes, the deck does have an infinite combo. Mind Crank whenever an opponent loses life. What's the other part of this combo? Dimir Guildmage, I think. Or else the other Guildmage. One of the 2 Guildmages. He hurts them, they lose life. They mill cards. That hurts them. They mill more. I'll set that aside until I find the other piece of the combo. Thespian Sage. Thespian Stage. Just for fun. So I can copy whatever interesting land there is. Like 2 coffers. That could be cool. Dreadship Reef. Black-blue storage land. Cheap in foil and oh so pretty. Fate Stitcher. So a friend of mine was playing his Mimeoplasm? I believe it's Mimeoplasm. His Mimeoplasm mill deck against my Phenax mill deck. And he had me down almost dead with Terravore. And then I got Fate Stitcher. And I had Phenax. And I copied his Terravore, milled him, untapped the Terravore, milled him against who had nothing. And usually being a judge, what he did is, okay, you lose. No, I still get an untap, upkeep, draw. Maybe I'll be able to do something. So, pass turn. Untap, upkeep. Can you do anything? Can you? No. Okay, good. I win. Nemesis of Reason, 5 for a 3/7. Whenever he attacks, defending player puts top 10 cards of his library into his graveyard. So I've got the option. Attack, that's 10 cards. Tap it with Phenax, that's 7 cards. Yeah, either way, I'm milling. Milling like a villain. Counterspell. L.A. Williams is pretty cool, I gotta admit. I wish they'd bring back some of these old classic artists. Academy Ruins. So if I need an artifact back, I can get it. Island. Underground River. I really like this art. Really like to have one in foil. I can't remember if it was printed in a set where it would be foil. But I'm sure it would be bloody expensive. Probably 7th edition. Maybe 7th edition in the same picture. I don't remember. I know I don't like the new 10th edition one. I don't like that art at all. It just doesn't do anything for me. Walking Atlas. Tap. I can put a land card from my hand into play. So in these colors, it's hard to get lands out faster. There's not that many cheating ways to do it. So this helps. And it's also nice, it says land, not basic land. So whatever land I have, I can dump into play at instant speed, as long as he's ready to go. Alright, so I'm going to hit pause and get ready for part 2. Stand by.